AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Cause I'm getting there. Cause I'm getting there. Cause I'm getting there. Yeah. Don't waste your time. We in the building. We in the building. Hit that like button. You don't see no comments up there. Get in here. Hit that like button. Share, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff that we say on the YouTube stratosphere. You kidding me? The playoffs are back, baby Bubba. It ain't a game. It ain't a game. Not the game I love. Not the game I love. Great weekend so far here in New York. Oh, look who it is. Mo stormed down the ring like the ultimate warrior yesterday when she saw them Pistons getting their ass whooped. Clotheslined everybody up out of there. Good morning, Mo. We are here, baby. Yeah. More content for Spurs, please. Flacco. Oh, man. Flacco, let me tell you something. We got a guy in here named Jesse Gladsiget. When you see him, we definitely going to ask more questions about that. Why go with that, right? Flacco, listen, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you guys even suggesting things of that nature. It's the NBA. We love this game. Let's not forget that. We love this game. We love our Knicks, but we love this game. Let's start things off there with the Spurs. 111, 98 victory over the bum-ass Blazers. And listen, I've been okay with the Blazers for some time now because of Chauncey Billups was there, right? And it felt like, not that it felt like, we obviously knew with the details emerging, surfacing about his case, his in battle court case, which he's going down, folks. Let's not hold back. Can we not? We're not gonna beat around the bush here. Homeboy Damon Jones already pled guilty. Chauncey's going down. I don't know if they connected. I don't even care anymore. Point is, Chauncey Billups caught a case, gambling case. They were proved to be tanking. And you see now Portland became a playoff team. They were a play-in team. They weren't going to be that much better anyway. I think Chauncey knew that. A lot of young guns over there. Tamani Kimura is going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in the future. But until then, Denny Avia is known. You talk about, I can't even say he's a foul beta, man. That kid is a big kid. He only has 6 free throws. And can we go to his shot chart then real quick? I'm going to his shot chart because that's very important for me. Where's he at? Wesley Avia, right? You see here, 1, 2. He goes, look at Denny Avia's shot chart. He's not playing any games. These are all the shots you want from him. He went to the rim, and the Spurs did a great job of not fouling him. The Spurs did a great job of not fouling him and taking advantage of their strengths. That's how I looked at last night's game for the Spurs. You can limit a guy like that who can control the free throw line. Now you're limiting a potential superstar from taking over. He's not getting free looks. He's not getting into a rhythm at that free throw line. Portland's just young, and they don't have what we talked about with the Detroit Pistons, which we'll get into in a second. Scoot Henderson had a great game. A lot of garbage time though, but 3 guys with double-figure field goal attempts with the Portland Trailblazers. But here's the problem: Scoot Henderson is one of them. He just came back from injury. He's not really known as a second or third option. Really, very athletic guy. 2 for 4 from 3. You want that, but who's the other guy that's going to step up for Portland? Tamani Kimura, again, is not an offensive stud. 11 assists with Drew Holiday. Come on, Drew Holiday's 1,000 years old. You cannot rely on him. Even his last season with the Celtics, when he won the championship, he wasn't all the way there. He really wasn't. Derek White was the real anchor to that defense for the entire season till the playoffs rolled around. Drew Holiday took 82 games off, and then he stepped it up. That ain't the story, though. Robert Williams III had 16 minutes. Please don't tell Flea that. Please don't tell Flea that Robert Williams III has 16 minutes of action. He's going to bring him up again. I'm going to be pissed off. Oh, the Knicks could have got him. You could have. Please do not let Flea know that Robert Williams III played 16 minutes of playoff action. Shaden Sharp, who's a highlight reel, is not enough. Wemby had 35 points, 5 rebounds, 4 or 5 from the free throw line. He's hitting 5 or 6 from 3, right? Now, all of these things were created by his effort. He even look, he's a +4. Dylan Harper and Julian Champagne, Brooklyn's finest, by the way. He claims New York. He don't claim wherever the hell else you guys try to claim he's from. Champagne claims New York City, baby Bubba. But we know that the Spurs are a different dynamic when you see their guy. When Wemby's on the court, just like every other superstar, they get elevated. They become an elevated team. The energy's there. You feel invincible. It's like a superpower. And De'Aaron Fox, veteran. At this point, he might be the veteran in the starting lineup because, Harrison Barnes, 0 for 2. Shocker. He's just always putting up a dud. But them young guns, the Vassels of the world, Fox, Castle, these guys can rotate. Champagne, they're going to rotate on the defensive end, and then you get out in transition, and then it's too much for a Portland team who doesn't have an established MVP candidate yet. As good as Deni Avdija is, he's not an MVP candidate, and that's a problem. We're going to get to that later on today with the Hawks. When you have a great player, really good player, but are they an MVP caliber guy, All-NBA caliber guy? If you're not that guy, you just made it even harder come postseason time, which Flea always alludes to. It takes steps. It takes steps for a reason. It takes steps for a reason. Victor Wembanyama, this isn't just 35 points. It was an aggressive showing. It was an aggressive showing for a 7'4" guy to show up like this, spinning around, yamming it on Portland. Donovan Clingan is too slow. I don't know how many minutes Donovan Clingan played. 21 minutes. Look, 7 rebounds. I like Donovan Clingan. I expect more Donovan Clingans to be drafted because of the likes of Wemby. Right, Mo? 5 rebounds for Wemby is disgusting, but it's the rebounds and then the push. Whoever gets the rebound, it doesn't matter. Once I get the rebound, we got the big man down there. Let's get this ball down court. The mentality behind this team, the Spurs, is obviously Wemby's a superstar. Let's get behind him and rally behind him. De'Aaron Fox at one point I think it was a post-game interview, he was saying, we're about to have the GOAT right here. Our job is to make sure this guy is known as the GOAT. That's it. De'Aaron Fox, who's been in the league for a while, he was on Sacramento when I said he ain't no damn Tyrese Halliburton. When Halliburton drafted him, I said, I don't know what y'all are talking about, right? So think about what Fox's position is in the NBA right now. I've been compared to other point guards on my team. They traded him away. And I still couldn't become All-NBA or best shooting guard in the league or whatever the case may be. And now De'Aaron Fox is saying, hold on. This guy's definitely an animal. Wembanyama is an animal, GOAT level status, potentially. We got to make sure he's going to be that AllBall in the building. I'm just touching.
Why are we talking about Wemby? Let's talk about them Pistons. Why are we talking about Wembanyama? Let's talk about the best team in the East with the best player in the NBA that people had the nerve to argue he should be MVP. Let's talk about the best rim protector in the NBA. Let's talk about the best defense in the world that everybody's ever seen ever. Let's talk about that. Fuck out of here. Fuck everything else. Let's talk about these bum-ass niggas. Wake up. And if you ain't up, wake your ass up.
The Detroit Pistons, as Knicks fans have
Pissssssstons. Yes.
As Knicks fans have generously dubbed them, lose 112-101 in their home opener, their home playoff opener to the Orlando Blue Magic. They coming through with a new level of sauce. They coming through with a new level of drogas. Let's just keep it 1,000. Paolo Banchero, 23 points. He was very much doubted going into the playoffs. God damn. 9 rebounds, led everybody in rebounding yesterday. Took 4 3-point attempts, and he was just going to the basket like everybody else. Franz and Wagner combined for 53% shooting from the field. And that ain't hold on. I might have to shout out Mo AllBall because I ain't even realize the center of beef. I ain't pausing nothing, Flea. I'm 43. The center of contention, pun intended. Jalen Duren, Wendell Carter. Why is this important? Wendell Carter outplayed him badly. Wendell Carter has 17 points, 7 rebounds, 8 of 9 from the field. Jalen Duren, MIA. We ain't talking about Miami, Florida. We're talking about missing in action. Jalen Duren, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 1 block, 3 of 4 shot attempts, Mr. All-Star. But apparently, AllBall, there's more to it than that.
Deeper than rap.
It's, it's deeper than rap. Wendell Carter's arm too strong for your man's. Ask Angel. Ask Angel. That's all I gotta say about that, AllBall. Ask Angela, whose arm is strong enough in the post. Clearly, Cade Cunningham with a monster game, 39 points. AllBall. Flea's been calling it. How many times has he told us? It takes steps. Everybody gets mad at him because he gets mad at us. He keeps reminding us. Dog, he grabs the chalkboard, he grabs the chalk, he points to the damn chalkboard. It takes steps, everybody. I don't care how good you are. And once again, Lee stands correct. AllBall, Cade Cunningham, out of gas. Detroit looking desperately for a second option. Game 2. Are they in shambles? What do they have to worry about? Or should they be so worried?
Yes, they should be worried. They should have been worried when they watched Orlando just thump and just violate and disrespect the Charlotte Hornets. They probably was praying we get Charlotte. Let me make this clear, right? Let's talk basketball. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Listen, wake y'all asses up. Y'all see the Cash App, ABTV3. Y'all see the Instagram channel, AllBall TV3 _. Subscribe. Become a member. We staying on their head top. Yeah, we ramping it up for the playoffs. Fabian, let's talk basketball. And this is what gets me upset with everybody that's aficionado, right? Everybody that's a professional. Everybody that will have the nerve to tell us we don't know the game. We shouldn't talk the game. We don't know what we're talking about. Let me break this down. The Detroit Pistons never was fully healthy in the playoffs. This Detroit Pistons team, this core, never was in the playoffs together. Last season, Duren and Beef Stew wasn't playing. Excuse me, Chicken Pot Pie wasn't playing. Right? They lost in the first round 6 games. So now you come back fully healthy, right? But there's no chemistry. There's no experience, right? But then you go to the Orlando Magic. Have people forgotten they have experience in the playoffs? They actually won a playoff series. So why is it so surprising? You know why? Because people are quick to glaze. People are quick to jump on the bandwagon. People are quick, like Stephen A. Smith, to continuously say he fears a team that hasn't won a playoff series in 18 years. How does that not matter? How? So for me, it's just mind-boggling. Now, it doesn't take away the great season the Pistons had. It doesn't take away Cade Cunningham being an MVP candidate. No, it doesn't take away from that. But I've been saying this. Chicken Pot Pie is very overrated. He's known for chasing LeBron around. He ain't known for nothing else. Cut the jokes. And when he got into the fisticuffs with Bridges, unimpressed. That's all I'm going to say. Duren, this is his first time understanding what it is to have the spotlight on you. But when you look at his game, you can't depend on that night in and night out. You have Tobias Harris, solid. But you can't depend on him to be 20 a night. Then you have the Thompson twin. I keep saying it. On offense, liability. You playing 4-on-5. So I'm just trying to figure out, when we talk basketball, when we break it down, tell me where I'm wrong at. And then you go to the Orlando Magic, Fabian. They have experience. This core has been together. And then they add a piece like Bane, right? That's a dog. That's a difference maker, right? That can play the game. And he just happened to play terrible last night, and they still beat them handedly. Let's call it what it is. Detroit never led in that game yesterday, and that was at home. So, yeah, they should be worried. And I've said it. Humble yourself. But for me, Fabian, it's just amazed that Flea continuously says what he says, and people just ignore him. Idiots like me. It is steps. And the Detroit Pistons are in trouble. Can they still win a series? Yes. But to me, they've been exposed. I don't care what nobody say. They've been exposed. And a good basketball team with a good head coach will expose them. So, yeah. Pistons fans, Barney Rubble, y'all asses is in big trouble. And I ain't saying pause. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Yeah.
Listen, we gotta keep it official. We gotta keep it official. As of right now, we've been big on JB Bickerstaff. Excuse me, JB Bickerstaff. We gave him his props. He was the first coach to really, really call out and go crazy over the OKC Thunder last season, saying, yo, we just as good. Give us all calls. But JB Bickerstaff is now 9-20 in the playoffs. JB Bickerstaff is now 9-20 in the playoffs. That might be a decent shooting percentage. It is not a decent playoff percentage, ladies and gentlemen. He drops to 2-5 as the Pistons head coach. Remember, he got dropped by the Cavaliers for being too tough on them, which I disagreed with. I definitely disagreed with. And you saw the improvement and the leap that the Pistons took with him, guiding them. But we can't overlook that. We can't overlook it. There seems to be a theme here. When it matters most, what are you guys doing? When it matters most, has the Orlando Magic mastered the recipe to chicken pot pie? Have they figured this out, ladies and gentlemen? Listen, I had to Google it myself. I don't know how to cook, but how to make chicken pot pie. Apparently, all I had to do was look under the Orlando Magic website. They showed you how to make beef stew into chicken pot pie. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's getting ridiculous out here. What is happening?
Listen, that stat you just put up with JB, right? And I like JB Bickerstaff. I think he's a good head coach. But you can't ignore last 2 seasons, you are winless at home. Like, how can you ignore that? So when No Strays, big shout out to him last night, gave us a stat of where the team that wins the first game 50% of the time wins the series, and then y'all can't get a home game, right? How can you be confident right now as a Pistons fan? Like, let's be for real. Your best shooting guard is Duncan Robinson. Your power forward has no moves. Your small forward in Tobias Harris, solid, but inconsistent. Been around. Never been that guy. So you can't depend on, like, so they are in trouble. And the way people got bamboozled and swindled this season with them is insane. Well, y'all was worrying about us. We ain't thinking about y'all.
Stay right there, AllBall, because we got some guys talking about the game who've been following the game for a minute. Some inspiration, some guys who just know what they're talking about, even when they fly off the handle. Bill Simmons has something to say about this Pistons loss to the Orlando Magic.
This game, it was like you wouldn't have known who the 1 seed was and who the 8 seed was if you came out of a coma, right? If you just woke up, you missed 6 months of the season, you were like, who's the 1 seed? Was it Orlando? No, it was actually Detroit.
Well, Detroit, you know, all the things they do to exert their will and their physicality on everybody else don't work as well against Orlando because Orlando's as big and strong and nasty as the Pistons are. And you said a key word, which is health. Anthony Black is back and Franz Wagner is back. And like, maybe that's just part of what this is and why we didn't see this team together the whole year. When Suggs is in and out of the lineup, I've called him the sort of skeleton key of their team before. Their starting 5 has been good all year when healthy. They're just never healthy, but they played so goddamn hard on both ends of the floor. They played with so much force, so much speed, so much decisiveness that part of me was like, and I mean this in a sort of backhanded way, are they like the least accomplished flip the switch team in the history of the NBA? Have they been like waiting to play this hard all year and they just barely scrounge in by the 8th seed? Because this was a completely different team than some of the bad lay and egg games they've had.
I can't even imagine what it's like to be an Orlando Magic fan right now. Because there's no way after the Philly playing game, there's no way anyone could have believed in Orlando after those 2 games, right? So now it's like, maybe that's what happened. They had to hit rock bottom. Maybe they had some great team meeting that we don't know about, but they're a completely different team. And I have to buy into it.
William Simmons, Zachary Lowe with the commentary, AllBall. We've been saying it. I made a mistake yesterday and I said the Magic beat the Cavs in the second. I conflated 2 rounds. The Magic haven't made it out of the first round in several years. They lost to the Cavaliers 2 years ago, and they actually lost to Boston in the first round last year. But it's his playoff experience. They did go into this series and into this playoffs basically announcing through the reporters, Jamal Mosley's job is done with. They lost to Philly like they just stated, and we thought it was over for the Magic. We didn't think they had anything coming into this game or into the Charlotte game, the last playing game, and it's turned into the Pistons' worst nightmare because I've been saying, wait a minute, I didn't expect them to be this motivated, and the Pistons do have the kind of defense that can beat and derail people's game plans, but so does a motivated Orlando Magic. Oh boy, you know I've been on them for years. Damn, Franz can get to the basket. He's 6'10" with a handle. It's amazing what he can do. AllBall, William Simmons, Zachary Lowe, they out here saying it's over for Detroit.
I'm not going to go that far, but what they said was on point. If you was just somewhere gone for 6 months and you watched that game last night, you would think Detroit was in the play-in. Like, seriously, right? But let's not forget, and I'm going to keep repeating this, right? When we ask who we think is a threat to the Knicks, I said the Orlando Magic. I also said the Detroit Pistons this season caught everybody off guard. And I always ask, if the East was fully healthy, would Detroit be this good? If Milwaukee was fully healthy, if Embiid was fully healthy with Philly, right? Would this be going on? I mean, these are real questions. If Jason Tatum was with Boston, would Detroit be this good? No. The Knicks proved that a fully healthy East, we can still be the 2 or the 3 seed. Detroit hasn't proven that. It just seems like when there's injuries, everybody else gets judged by that except the Detroit Pistons. How has nobody brought up they're this good because the whole East was injured? Like, let's call it what it is now. Respect to the Pistons. They dumped us and kicked our ass all 3 times we met them this season, right? But we all know that don't matter. Boston kicked our ass last season. What we did to them in the playoffs. For me, I just think a lot of these teams, they too stuck up. They think they good enough when you're not. It's clear you need a shooting guard. It's clear you need a shooting guard, right? I talk about Houston. It's clear you need a point guard. Minnesota, it is clear you need a point guard. But some of you coaches, some of you GMs are so full of yourself. Nah, we good. And then you get exposed. Fabian, you 100% correct. Detroit is in trouble for the simple fact Orlando didn't even play well. Let's be for real. Shot the ball terribly, turned the ball over, and just looked a mess more times than others. And still won the game handily. I don't understand how you could be a Pistons fan today and not be a little concerned. Because we all know if the Knicks would have lost to Atlanta, you know what we would have been hearing. Series is over, I told y'all. But because it's Detroit and everybody's ready to glaze and just jump on the bandwagon of something fresh and new, it's hard to fathom that. Once again, this is going to be a tough series for the Detroit Pistons. Can they still win it? Yes. But it's very concerning that y'all haven't got a playoff win at home in the last 2 seasons.
And it's very concerning because of the confidence that the Pistons fans come in here with, right? And everybody's saying the same thing. And can we please retire this quote? All you guys got parlays and want to be full-time gamblers all of a sudden. they're playing with house money. As you can see after game one, retire the quote. No, the fuck they're not. This is not house money anymore. Now you lose game one to the 8th seed. It don't look like house money anymore. Look like a lot more money's on the line. That bag got a lot more heavier. Once you see it, what's your guy when they're at the casino and they start walking away with your chips? And they swipe it off the table. You go, wait a minute. That ain't house money, Papa. I gotta go back to the ATM real quick. Yeah. Right. The Blue Magic came in there and they're not playing any games. I've been saying this for some time now about them, and they were a very disappointing team. They were my most disappointing team this season going into the playoffs. But now they're showing you why I was so disappointed in their style of play. They play an ugly game of ball. It's the Pistons play an ugly game of basketball, but they get out in transition. They had their guys going even when their stars went down. But you can see the Magic have been here before. Oh, we got to give Franz and Paolo the ball while their actions are going towards the basket. Paolo, you can't not leave Paolo and Franz one-on-one. You can't. Franz is a beast, bro. You had Cade Cunningham on him late in the game without no late doubles. You have to let them do what they do. They're going to wind the shot clock down, throw a late double at them. Now it puts more pressure on the Magic because they can't score like that. And on top of that, you letting these 6'10 guys shoot towards the basket with two other 6'10 guys. They're trying to get an offensive rebound, bro. They know that their possessions, their points come from multiple possessions in one extended one. So the Pistons weren't ready for this. We got to call it like we see it. The Pistons were overconfident. You called it yesterday. Excuse me. I was thinking that they can run in there with their defense and take anybody over, but you called it. JB Bickerstaff, do you got your guys ready? Do you got them boys ready? It's game one. You guys keep talking about this house money. You are not a dynasty. You're not the Joker. You ain't the Celtics. You ain't having one shit. Same thing you guys were talking about us as Knicks fans. Y'all were acting like that. Y'all were acting like you won something. We just New Yorkers. The whole league, the media was talking about, yo, man, it's over. The Magic played their game, the same game they've been playing. The Pistons were not ready for it. Game two, we don't expect Jalen Suggs to come out in that first quarter and kill and dominate, but what's stopping Desmond Bane from coming out and having a 20-point quarter? He can catch fire. You don't want that because now it opens things up for the rest of these guys. They're playing with too much confidence. Paolo Banchero and these guys are going carefree now. Yo, we got nothing to lose, bro. We have nothing to lose. You can't stop us from going to the inside the paint. Your best players don't know how to score on their own. Jalen Durant cannot get a basket on his own. Wendell Carter outplayed your all-star. Wendell Carter is nowhere near an all-star. Nobody talks about that guy ever in the history of the NBA. Nobody. Oh, boy. This is very scary times for these Detroit guys who came in here very gassed the hell up. And yes, pun intended, Motor City.
Listen, let's talk facts. If you put side to side both these rosters and we're talking fully healthy, who's the better team? It's not even close. Like, let's be for real. I don't know how anybody get hyped off of Duren, Stewart, and the Thompson twin. Are they good players? Yes. But I meant what I said. A lot of these niggas is bench niggas. Y'all ain't no starters. Like, yo, they giving some of these dudes the responsibility of superstars, of starters that can change a series. Duren and Chicken Pot Pie can't change a series? Are you kidding me? Like, let's keep it real. That's why when they talk about Atlanta versus the Knicks, I'm going, okay, put your bias to the side. Who has the better roster? The same thing with this Pistons series, Fabian. The Orlando Magic has a better roster. On any given night, Ben Carroll could be just as good as Cade. Maybe not assisting the ball, but on offense and scoring, on any given night, Paolo could be just as good as Cade.
Oh, boy.
After that, Orlando is off to the races with who's better. Cut the jokes.
Oh, boy. Please not on the screen with us. Please don't even ask him. Hey, remember that conversation you and Fabian were having in the summertime? Cade versus Paolo? You know, it's a marathon. This ain't a sprint. Playoff time coming around. You want to circle back around to that conversation? Paolo's playing bananas. He's playing his game again. Cade's game is going to be prettier than Paolo. Paolo plays an ugly style. The Carmelo comparisons are they're too early. They're premature. This guy doesn't have the handle between step back. It's not really his game. You want him going towards the basket. Kid's playing insane right now, all ball. If I'm JB Bickerstaff, though, I know you're not high on Isaiah Stewart, but I know the plus minus here, right? The whole starting lineup is a minus, right? Jalen Duren minus 21, Tobias Harris minus 15, minus 14 for Duncan Robinson, minus 1 for Cade Cunningham. Obviously, it's not his damn fault. He got it down to a minus 1. But you have Kevin Huerter with a plus 7, and really what stands out is Isaiah Stewart with a plus 6. As much as chicken pot pie, he only played 18 minutes. As much as he may not have been effective in your mind, 18 minutes. Cade played 40. He played 40. If I'm JB Bickerstaff, I'm benching. Who's starting there? Tobias Harris. You trading offense for defense. What kind of offense you getting from him when he ain't shutting you down defensively? Bring in your dogs. The Orlando Magic are playing with dogs. You have to counter the dog with a dog. This is the style of play you have to run with. Styles make matchups. Styles make fights. You need Isaiah Stewart in there to muck it up because he likes to talk to Paolo and them. He likes to get on their nerves. Obviously, you're taking a chance with Paolo catching with Isaiah catching a tech. Chicken pot pie might catch a tech, but they don't stand a chance if one of your best rim protectors are on the bench for 18 and he's only playing 18 minutes of a game or ball. You got to match defense for defense and let Cade figure it out on his own and give him a better shot for every shot and every possession, meaning that much more.
Let me explain to you why that's not going to work, right? Especially against a good head coach or great head coach. Now, like I said, the Orlando Magic coach, he's cool, but I don't know if he's great status, right? But let me explain why that won't work. Because if you got Duren, Beef Stew, and Thompson on the floor at the same time, where you getting offense from? Those are 3 players you ain't even got to guard. Let's call it what it is. So now you could just guard straight up or double team Cade. And all right, let him get 40. See, Cade last night only had 4 assists. That's why they lost. If Cade has 9, 10, 11, 12 assists like normal, they win that game. But I get what you're saying. But when you substitute that offense for defense, you literally have no offense. None. So that's why I say Detroit is in a sticky situation, right? If Cade is not getting those guys involved, if those guys are not hitting tough shots and is on fire, Jenkins and Duncan Robinson and them guys, they are regular weed. So I get what you're saying, but you telling me you're going to have Stewart, Duren, and Thompson on the floor at the same time? Now, defensively, they're going to give hell. I get that. But offensively, bro, you ain't even got to guard them. So, listen, Detroit, they have some things to work out. Like I said, it's early. It's only one game. It's a long series. I don't see Orlando sweeping them or nothing crazy like that. Like I said, I still think, Detroit could probably win in 6 or 7 games. But to not be able to win at home yet is very concerning. And I'm going to be honest. This is probably, in the last 20 years, this game 2 is probably the biggest game of Cade Cunningham's career. Seriously. Because if you go down 0-2, Lord have mercy, y'all might fold like a beach chair. Y'all already look rattled. So, Fabian, listen, they got something to think about as far as the substitutions and the adjustments. But substituting Tobias for Beef Stew, I wouldn't do that because, like I said, at least with Tobias Harris, he can catch on fire, right? He can knock down some shots. But like I said, with Beef Stew, bro, that's what I'm saying. He's not good enough, and he did have a good game defensively. He had a couple block shots, so I give him props for that. But it wasn't enough.
But
hold on, Fabian. Think about this. It's a reason why he only played 18 minutes.
Yes. He's not playing 30. Like these guys get gas, but maybe same thing with Mitchell Robinson. We know your heart, he ain't got it. All right, if you want to start hard and play these games, Mike Brown, please limit him. We know when he's got it going. Sit him down. So either Duren, so maybe not start Isaiah Stewart, But when you're watching Durant, you're watching Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is streaky as hell. 5 of 15 is nasty, especially when you're going to give up that many points. You're not great defensively. Isaiah Stewart, you bring him in there, you can count on a lot of things. Plus, they need way more downhill action from Durant to get something going. You got to put pressure on the Magic in that paint and get some fouls for Durant. Even if he doesn't make his free throws, you want to make it easier for your second guy. What we've been talking about with Brunson and Cat the whole time. Don't tell me that Durant cannot create shots on his own like that. He's okay. I seen him with his little handle and all that. 4 shot attempts. How many minutes again? 32 minutes.
Dog.
If you are a Detroit Pistons fan, you are pissed the hell off. You gotta be. 4 shots, all ball.
Fabian, if Kay Cunningham is not dumping the ball into him, bro, he can't get his own shot. Who's he posting up and putting moves on? Like, seriously, he did an in and out and surprised himself and the shit went out of bounds. Like, he ain't got no moves.
You a comedian now?
like seriously, so that's why Kay Cunningham is so important, because when he's averaging 10, 11, 12 assists, he's getting those guys involved. But if a good coach, a good scheme, a good defense locks in on that and goes, okay, Kay, get your 40. We even let you get 50, but you only got 4 assists.
But they're in desperation mode now, AllBall. You cannot. All right, fine. Your offense is ugly, but so is Orlando's. Obviously, you don't got 2 guys that could go downhill like Paolo and Franz. You don't.
Orlando got more firepower though. Detroit doesn't have the firepower offensively that Orlando has. Think about Black could come off the bench and go berserk, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like Franz, Beccaro, Bane, Black, then Wendell Carter is a threat. He got a post move. He could hook shot you. He can spread the floor and knock down a 3. Detroit don't have that with Stewart and Duren and Thompson. So if Kane ain't throwing them dudes alley-oops or getting in the lane and dishing off to them dudes is irrelevant on offense. I'm sorry.
But I also think it's the fact that what you're saying with Cade, he has to feed Duren a certain way. And the team does as well. We saw he's 21, 22 years old. We seen his game 1 bright lights is on. It's tougher for Duren to get it going, especially when Cade's gonna have the ball most of the time. And if he's not gonna get Duren involved, at least get other guys. Isaiah Stewart's he can set screens. These are little things that I've been talking about for years. If you got screen setters, the game is now easier. You could at least try to play that you want to do, even though you don't have the players necessarily that can execute on offense. But you made a great point. That's the counter. That's what it is. If you're even in an ugly game, we still siding with if I'm putting the bread down, more or less, they got to go with the Magic at this point. Now they got home court advantage. Also, you got 3-4 guys that can put the ball on the floor and get to the paint. And what Mike Brown always talking about, these spray threes, even though Orlando got the biggest bum-ass 3-point percentage that we've ever seen AllBall.
Detroit has 1 player that they can give the ball and go get me a bucket. Orlando got about 4. Like, that's the difference. Now, Tobias, like I said, I trust Tobias Harris. He can score, right? I'm not, right? But ain't nobody high on him. I'm going with the other 3-4 guys on Orlando as far as better scorers than Tobias. So, like I said, when you weigh this thing out, it's heavy favored on the Orlando Magic side. It's just that they've been injured and they had a bad season, right? And then Beccaro stunk it up in the play-in, and we all was on his head top. But when you really think about it, and when this team is fully healthy, and like I said, I said it clearly, if they're going to play with a chip on their shoulder, if they're going to play like they have something to prove, if they're going to fight for this coach, they are going to be a dangerous team to the Detroit Pistons. And listen, what makes them even more dangerous, Bane and Suggs were struggling. Imagine if, and what I said last night, Fabian, if they knock down 3 of those wide open threes, that game is over in the 3rd quarter.
Or if they call some calls for Franz going to the basket.
4 times in a row. And Detroit don't get some of those phantom calls they got. Come on, man. I always say, chat, we watch the game together. Yeah, we have fun sometimes, but we ain't lying and trolling all the time. We watch that shit together. Y'all seeing what we see. Whether you're a Pistons fan or not. Come on now.
Big time. Let's get to these super chats, y'all. East Blue Drew. Thank you for your 199. He said, lighten up that piston pack. No grava. Carolina Drew, appreciate it. Thank you for your 199. Lights too bright for Pistons. Number 1 seed choking. Hey, appreciate that 199, Carolina. ABTV3, that's the Cash App. ABTV3, that's the Cash App. Oh boy, this is just I can't believe it. They say Jalen Duren's defense tape. What's this? He roughly allowed 10 points, 3 forced misses, 1 block, 0 forced turnovers. The lack of awareness behind them when guarding the paint is a big problem. Way too athletic to be a poor defender. They're talking about also how Duren didn't really defend the way that you thought he would. I mean, we laugh at Beef Stew being a top rim protector, but Duren, Incredible Hulk, like you can't keep doing that. You got to pay attention. And we get on Cat about being in, in a little out of space sometimes. But when he's been locking in this year, and we've been so impressed. Duren cannot sleep at all. It's going to be a really physical series. You have to match them muscle for muscle. These guys are not playing. And I just think the Magic at this point, again, like you said, the experience, also just being upset. Who's more motivated? Is Detroit really more motivated, or were they overconfident? This may have been a case of overconfidence on ball, and you warned them. I got to commend you. I try to bring the fair and balanced commentary, and you said, wait a minute now. You guys don't sound humble. You guys don't sound humble.
Listen, Orlando has the size, and they can match the physicality. Let's be for real. Bane is a dog, a pest. Suggs is a former football player. They got dogs. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when we talk about the game of basketball, what Detroit did this season, exceptional. It don't matter no more. Now it's about matchups. Now it's about, okay, who's fully healthy? Who's not? Okay, look at this roster. What can he do? What he can't do? When you able to zone in on your opponent, it's a different ball game. And for me, JB, he better win tomorrow. I tell you that much. Tomorrow, Kay Cunningham and JB, so far, this is probably the most important game in their careers. Because to be the number one seed and have all this hype and expectation, listen, Floyd Mayweather said it. The bright lights is different. When you have purpose now, when you have an expectation now, this ain't a regular season game. Y'all expected to win. So when you go into the rim, your thought process is different. That's how you miss little bunnies. K, 2-3 layups in a row missed. Guys missing free throws. You talking, look, Orlando talking back to y'all. Ain't showing no fear.
Who on Detroit really has a villain like Desmond Bane? Like you just said it. Chicken pot pie. Paolo ain't scared of you dudes, dog. That's a big boy. I've been saying about Paolo, say whatever you want. I like him because he talks mad shit and he doesn't look scared. It looks for real. And now they got a guy like Desmond Bane. He done stepped to LeBron. He doesn't care who you are. So who are you if you ain't never won jack shit, in the words of my man AllBall? Who are these dudes? Oh, we flaming them. We going right here to the mental. Boys too young. How them boys gonna win? Also, with Cade Cunningham coming back from the collapsed lung, Isaiah Stewart coming back from an injury, we can't overlook that. Are you guys really ready? You got to push at a playoff 40 minutes,
right?
For playoff basketball, AllBall. I'll let you end it with this.
And that's why, Detroit bringing Cade back early, so that 65 game rule. Like, listen, man, the Orlando Magic, and this is my last point. Last night, the Orlando Magic proved half of us don't know shit about the game. The Orlando Magic proved that a lot of us is idiots. And we think we know what we're talking about. Because half of us do what everybody else is doing. You're looking at the seeding. You're looking at the names and the all-star appearances. You're not even looking at the matchups. You ain't looking at nothing else. Because if you did that, Nobody would fear the Detroit Pistons. And Orlando Magic is proving it.
Well, damn. Hey, we'll be back this afternoon. All ball. Got a little afternoons with all ball.
Yeah, we be back 3 o'clock. Yeah, give y'all some afternoon. Break down some news. Preview the Knicks game 2 tonight. Huge game. We probably break down a little more the Detroit Pistons. Hopefully, we'll have maybe some footage of maybe Cade or the coach or Dorinda, some of them at the podium. See how they feel. What's their thought process? We can react to that. Definitely gonna preview game 2 tonight. So we definitely gonna see y'all this afternoon, 3 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock, the finale, which y'all all wait for. We know it's only one series everybody want to see and talk about. Live watch party. Knicks versus Hawks. Game 2. At the crib. Handle business.
Playing with us. Knicks rehab preview. Knicks versus Hawks game 2, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Set your clocks, baby Bubba. The notifications will be on. Pay attention. Wake up, all ball. Have a great AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.